Good morning, Tartaria, Australia.
Mhm.
Hey, buddy, how you going?
I'm good. I'm good. Good. Getting bored in WA in Perth.
Oh, poor Campbell.
I know, right? So yeah, guys. I know I haven't done any lives or anything. But yeah, if any Perthites are around and want to leave a message or anything below, want to catch up, let me know.
Yeah, he needs some stimulating conversation, guys. He
I,
needs some friends.
I
You need to
do.
go and find him.
Yeah, I'm stuck with my in my parents' house, and they're just complete news fiends, man. Like they spend all day programming themselves from the news, which is very, very strange, and the energy is very, very strange, and conversations are very strange.
I
Still don't have
know.
him.
Poor Campbell.
I
He's in the
know.
drone. He's in the frequency band of dare I say it, those souls that are kind of half there and half not, Campbell. You're in that vibe.
Yeah, it is like the yeah, the energies I can feel it. The energy is just low around here, and I'm not used to it at all, and it's just kind of
Yeah, yeah. He
um,
did he did go from living with me for a long time there. So he's like
yeah,
he's missing he's missing having the Virgo around, whipping him into shape.
Yep, yep. Got no one to push and prod me, and went from a farm where I'd get up and you'd see for miles and miles, and now I go outside to get the sun, and there's a fence right there.
Oh, that horizon, I tell you, one of the coolest things about living in nature is the horizon.
Mm.
And your view, because you're staring at the horizon and this like long view, you literally have a long, broad view in your mind.
Oh,
It's very
totally.
helpful for this work.
Yeah, well, I mean, boxed in, right? We talk about, being in the box and everything, and that's what suburbia is, man. Like literally every little block is a box,
Yeah.
so it's
Most unnatural, most
most of them,
unnatural.
yeah, man. Yeah, so it's
Most unfitting, the shamans and wizards among us. Most unfitting. These little square boxes made famous by remember that TV show Weeds with the ticky-tacky boxes?
Yeah, yeah, the tiki, yeah, yeah, yeah. Living in tiki-tacky houses and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. So it's interesting, being in suburbia, that's for sure. It's an
Yeah.
experience, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not one
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
necessarily want to, go and explore.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like all of our communities all around Australia, all of our audience, so a big chunk of them live out in nature, and nothing around them is ticky-tacky. It's all like self-built, self-made, self-love. It's all this sort of like areas and gardens, and there's a nice flow through the off the gridders and the
Mm,
home builders and the gardeners. It's a nice flow in there, and it's
yeah.
definitely more life-giving.
Yeah, I've completely. Yes, it's just, more relaxed, right, for your mind and your body. So it's, yeah, man. I'm on the I've entered the dark side.
So, Campbell, that scene behind you, that's something you can't find in your area?
No, no, haven't found any hippies or alternatives yet.
Really? There must be though. Like
There's
where
got to, yeah, there's got to be some around. It's just I don't know where they are. There's there's lots and lots of people, but like I go for a walk down the street and the whole place is empty. Like there's all these big houses everywhere, but everyone runs off to work every morning, and that like it's just a completely different vibe, man. It's out in the country and stuff. People have lives, right? They do things with their time. Not that many people have 9 to 5s, and yeah, man, out here everyone's got a 9 to 5. It's crazy.
Mm.
It's just weird. It's
Well, I
weird.
have a 9 to 5, Campbell. I have one of
Yes.
those, but
Yes,
it's
but
it's different. I'm the
yeah, you,
boss
you
of
can work
myself.
on the veranda and look at nice views,
Yes.
in an office or
Quite right. Quite right.
yes. Yeah, so we haven't actually got anything planned. We just thought we'd have a chat tonight. But we did have a chat with a friend, Glenn, this morning. Gosh, yes, that was very interesting. So he was sort of confirming it. A lot of the things he said were similar to what Jay Dreamer says, and he's been watching the signs and everything. He's an original elder. So that was quite good. He was talking about letters, wasn't he? He was talking about he's been going through the alphabet and he's saying we're at Y. and next is X, and Y is either
No,
is splitting.
X was
X
last year.
X Y.
No, X is this year,
I'll
wasn't
be
it?
X Y. Yeah, yeah. X is before Y. I'm
Yeah.
going to learn my alphabet soon.
Yeah. And we're moving into Y,
Yeah,
which is the snake tongue,
the split
the
or the
split.
snake tongue. Oh God, let's hope not. Yeah, yeah. Wow. I mean, they're pushing hard on the agendas. I don't know if anyone's seen, but there's all these UFO reports and people are going crazy about that, and reports of motherships coming to Earth and all this kind of stuff. And we had Elon Musk. Did you see Elon's latest rocket thing? Like he launched a rocket and then it came it came back and landed like an old
Oh, and they
style
caught
rocket.
it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it got caught. Oh,
Landing burn has
13
been
engines.
ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in view.
I was just watching it, just going, shaking my head, man. And my parents are like, "Oh my God, that's amazing! How did they do that?" It's like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
no."
Well, I'll just tell you on the topic of Elon Musk. Let me just show that. Did you watch that clip I sent you yesterday?
Yeah, that
Elon
was
Musk.
that was. Oh no, not the Musk one. No, I saw the one
Yeah.
on the time traveler or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
I
So
must have
I
missed that
might,
one.
yeah, well, let me show it now. I might as well. Let me just bring it up. And because I mean it could absolutely be obviously, completely AI, completely fake. Like we know that. But
Yeah,
conceptually, what it offered as a concept was really interesting. I thought it was like, yeah, okay, I mean, it's a trip and it doesn't feel good. So, it's probably like, anyway, let's just watch it and see what you guys think. Wait, I'll put it up now.
all right.
Good way to start the show and see where it leads us. All right, you ready? Let's go.
2020, a lot of people have been saying they don't feel like they are living in reality. Like it feels like a game, like a virtual reality. Because I know I've been feeling like this as well. Then my daughter came to me tonight and was like, "Ma, I was telling my boyfriend the other day, I've been feeling like I am not real. Like every day when I get up, I feel like I'm not living a real life. Like I'm just in a video game being controlled." I'm like, "Really? Like this is my first time hearing about it." So she's like, "Yeah." And then I looked it up and it's called derealization. Like I did not know there was a name for this. So then immediately it brought me back to a video that my supporter sent me about 2 days ago. And it was of Elon Musk on the
Derealization. It's a syndrome called derealization. Like, isn't that an interesting word? Derealization.
It is, because shouldn't it be realization?
I mean, it's
Because people are like
derealization.
realizing things. They're not derealizing them, are they?
I mean, they're derealizing reality. They're
Reality, yeah.
Anyway, interrupted.
Joe Rogan podcast, and he was explaining exactly why we've been feeling like this. I'll take a listen and let me know what you think. You think he onto something? Or do you think they just want us to think that this is what's going on? I don't know. I'm leaning more towards he probably know what he's talking about because he's exposing a whole lot, and they love to put the truth in plain sight. Now,
I don't know if he's exposing a whole lot
Yeah,
here.
Mr. Musk. I mean,
Let's not give
on
him
one
too much
hand,
credit.
he's like he does say the right things, and a lot of the times, but then he's also putting chips in people's brains and sending
Yeah,
rockets, and
he's Bill
lasers
Gates. He's Bill Gates. They're the same. They're the same. They're the same. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
yeah. But anyway, here's the theory, and I thought it was really interesting.
not only that, how else do you explain why everybody is feeling the same exact way?
How people say life doesn't feel real ever since 2020.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's because it isn't. For the decades leading up to 2020, there was something going on that the general public never could have expected. Certain aspects of our technology weren't only just providing services for us, they were planning a dramatic shift of consciousness. Google Earth, for the last 25 years, has been creating a completely digitized, three-dimensional blueprint of the entire planet, a perfect database of 3D tracked images of what our external world looks like. While all of our devices that were inside the home, riddled with cameras, have been slowly building back-end digitized replicas of what our households look and feel like, Silently, this siphoned visual information was being harnessed to build a massive digitized replica of our world inside and out. A kind of complex virtual reality that perfectly mimics the real one. Our digital footprints were used to create hyper-realistic digital avatars in this world that look and feel just like us. This virtual reality was being prepared for us to step into.
Okay, wait. Even if they made this digital replica of the Earth, how would they put us in there without us knowing?
Our cell towers are essentially riddled with high-powered neural transmitters, which, with properly pressurized electromagnetic field disbursement, could be used to target the consciousness in every individual within range and essentially absorb the consciousness out of the body and relocate it theoretically even into a digital environment. This process is called a snapshot conscious swap. It can happen instantaneously without the individual being able to grasp what had happened. They'd maybe feel lightheaded for a moment, think it was nothing more than a heat wave. And at some point during 2020, that is exactly what happened. It's why a lot of people couldn't smell or taste. The simulation was still catching up to synthetic scent and taste transmission.
If for nothing else, what I will say is it's a very interesting concept. Like I said, y'all let me know what you think in the comments. As always, peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
Cool, mate. Thanks for sharing. Miss Each, this is her channel. Each one, teach one, liberate your mind. Each one, teach one, liberate your minds. So thanks for sharing. So, okay.
Wow.
That was a fascinating concept. And FYI, I lost my taste, my smell. I lost my smell and taste, just letting you know. So by that logic, I have entered completely the digital simulation.
Very 13th floor, isn't it? I mean, this has been talked about for a long time. And there was a big narrative a couple of years ago. A lot of people thought that something happened. I think they were saying around 2012, though, that something shifted.
Yep.
And, you know, and yeah, something happened. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like the world is like, we're definitely in a different world, right, than we were in 2019. It's a different place. So, who knows, man?
But let's just, like, what that's saying, like what that video is saying, that Google Earth and all of our tech have been creating simulated digital copies of us, and that all the towers have been like basically extracting our consciousness. And look, I can only assume that the vaccine and having that in your body was some sort of final frontier. But yeah, and then just in a moment you just feel a little bit faint or lightheaded, and then you've been transferred and you don't even know. But how you know is you're feeling this sense of derealization, like nothing's feeling real, nothing's feeling connected, nothing's feeling alive. So that's the concept. But I have to tell you, from my logic, I am feeling like I'm in a very beautiful and alive place of the world. Like the life around me is very tangible, very interconnected. It's very, I mean, if this is a digital copy, how would you prove a digital copy?
Could you prove it? You know, it's like how do
Could
we
you prove it?
what's outside of life and outside of the realm? It's very hard to do when you're inside it, right? That's why we're still questioning, you know, realm wide, what the hell is this place? Like, we still don't know. So as far as working out something's a simulation of some kind that we've been put into, then that would be very hard, right? It would just be picking up on the nuances, you know, things like things feel different, or they smell different, or they taste different, but I mean, even if you worked it out, like then what do you do? Like, how do you get out? But I mean, this is the whole concept, because the whole simulation theory, right, has really just popped up in the last, 4 years, definitely, but really like 2 or 3 years, it's sort of become a sort of bigger topic. So that's interesting. I've always just thought that we're getting to the end of an age, and so we're entering the finale, and that's going crazy, right?
So are you feeling it in any way? Are you feeling like reality has shifted in its realness to you?
I mean, not necessarily anything I can put my finger on, but I mean, the last 4 years have been pretty weird and interesting for me. That's for sure. It's definitely, it feels like.
Well, that's true for you. You did have some extreme events happen.
I've had some very extreme
Yeah.
things happen. Both good and bad, right? Mainly, mainly bad on the extreme side, but I've had, yeah, a lot of stuff that's just, yeah, I would have never sort of thought would happen, have
Yep.
happened.
Yep.
A lot of craziness.
I'm searching for a video while you're talking, by the way. Have you seen the one where the guy proves that we're in a simulation?
No, no.
Oh, yeah. So that
Interesting.
would go off the back of this conversation. So yeah, I am listening to you, buddy. Just
Then
not
we've got all
me.
the whole alien talk, what's that all about? I mean, obviously, the
So what's the alien
whole
talk? What's going on there?
well, there's just a lot of reports of, well, there's a lot of video of, UFOs. There's a lot of these triangle shaped UFOs that are on video. There's talk of motherships coming in and the whole second moon thing, and now people are saying it's not a moon, it's a mothership. So there's definitely some kind of agenda being built up there, but we've all been waiting for the whole, blue project
Oh,
thing,
sorry,
we'll say
sorry,
it that
sorry.
way,
Sorry. I found it.
because
Mm,
that was what Werner von Braun's secretary said, right? That he told her, like, and the last straw will be the alien invasion, but it'll
mm,
be fake, it won't be real.
mm.
So, we've sort of been expecting it. And then I saw a video too by the fittest flat earther. Um, and he found this company that basically project things into the sky,
Yep.
like hot pictures and holograms and that.
Yep.
And so the whole Elon Musk rocket ship that landed
Yep.
again, he's showing that. And I saw a video, I can't remember what channel, some flat earth channel, and they showed everyone recording it, when they were on, watching it live and recording it, and you could see someone's phone in the recording, but there was no rocket in the phone.
Mm. Oh, yep. Oh, that's funny.
So that
Yep.
was interesting.
Yeah,
So
right. So basically,
it
from here
wasn't
on
actually
in.
there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, we all know that's coming. We all know that's coming from here on in.
Yep,
Whatever appears in the sky.
it's crazy, right? And we've got obviously the whole US election and what's going on with that.
What
And
is going on? Where's that at? I haven't been watching.
well, I mean, basically, Camel Face is just imploding. She can't do anything right. She can't talk. She can't answer questions. She's not turning up to any of the events. She's not speaking to people, but then she goes on and she's yelling at people that, they have to vote for her or else they're whatever. And Trump, I've seen a few of Trump's speeches. He's just funny. He's just ripping into him. But I mean, he was also in power for 4 years and he didn't, no one got arrested. There were no, deep state takedowns or anything like this. Nothing really. One of his big supporters is Elon. And, there's a lot of questions obviously about Elon. If you haven't looked into it, his past, he's from one of the families, his dad was one of them, if you know what I mean. And now he's how is he the richest man in the world? Like how? He's got what, a bloody car company that's
No,
it's not even probably a quarter the size of things like Toyota. It's it's just
he's just a player.
he's just a play. He's Iron Man,
He's
right?
a
He was actually
puppet,
in the
man.
first
Yeah, he's
Iron
just an
Man too.
actor. He's an actor.
He's an actor. He's an actor with a good, he's had his hair replaced. He was bald at like
Yeah,
21
I
or
didn't know
something.
that. That's funny. Yep.
So, and he was married to that
Yes.
Grimes, was it? That devil worshipper, and he's got a kid that's named, I don't know, it's like a series of dots and dashes and numbers or something. It's all very strange, but then he goes out and he says interesting things like that video we just watched. But if that's true, then that video, that means he's in the simulation too. So is he not worried about that? What was his point of view on that? He's just like, oh well, we're in a simulation now. It's like, well, what? So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, they're all actors, right? That's
Yeah.
the greatest show on earth, right? They're all
Yeah.
actors. All the world is a
Yeah,
stage.
including Joe Rogan.
Oh, completely, Joe Rogan. Yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you don't get to be, he was basically a UFC commentator.
Yeah.
That's how he sort of
Yeah.
first got on. And then, like, within a couple of years, he had the biggest podcast in the realm. I mean, how does that happen?
Yeah.
And we know that these people that get put up, they're put there that they take to take over narratives. He came up when all the alternative narratives and the whole, conspiracy realists sort of started popping up. He came in to sort of, act like he's one of us, but to twist it all a little bit, right?
Yeah. And Alex Jones got punished and taken off his platform. So he did something again, he did something wrong by them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, Alex is another one that, he says all the right things, right? He looks good, but he's also been around and been, promoted, right? Because he has been in the news and all this stuff. We know if they didn't want us to know about him, they would just ignore him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be all over the place because they do that. So because they know a lot of people are going to go, yeah, man, he's on our side. And
Yeah, same with that whole crew. Peterson,
Jordan, yeah.
Jordan Peterson, and Owens, the girl, Candace
Oh,
Owens,
Candace, yep, yep.
and Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro, who's got
They're,
his twin sister is Brett from that other YouTube channel. They're
yeah.
clones. And then
I
they'll
mean, Tucker Carlson, most likely, even though he seems to have skeeted over. He's funny to listen to. Maybe
he
he's not.
is.
I don't know.
But they
Obviously,
have to be, right? That they're good
yeah,
actors.
it's all of them. Yeah.
I mean, he before he got fired, he was, what was he, CNN, or I don't know, he was one of the big
Yeah. Yeah.
channels in America. So he's definitely come from
Yeah.
there, and this is what they do. They've got to control both sides of the narrative. They got to have their good
Yeah.
guys and their bad guys so that
It's a
they're
bit
controlling
boring,
both
isn't it?
sides. So
It's very much less exciting when you understand,
I know it takes the
that,
fun.
it's this bit anyway.
It'd
So,
be
but
nice to have belief, wouldn't it? But I mean, I think ultimately it's all, if you're looking for the answers outside, then you're on the wrong path. If you're looking for someone to come and save you, then you're on the wrong path, I think. I think it's us.
yeah, yeah, of course, of course, of course. All right. Well, on the topic of the previous video about us being
Simulation.
digitally like siphoned off into a digital realm, because then I was actually thinking, that definitely could have happened, but like, and it like if you were to be siphoned off into a digital realm, or you could be completely have not been siphoned off to a digital realm and firmly planted yourself in the organic simulated realm,
Well,
which is the split everyone's been talking about.
is that to do with the jab, and is that to do with the
Yeah,
rise of the NPCs or the dead eye people?
yeah,
Like, are they in there? And we're noticing that they're not out here. They're not real anymore. I mean, it's an interesting question, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So but interestingly, this video started to surface. And this guy has like taken two refracted light sources. So like it looks like two laser lights, right? And
Oh,
he's
might have
crossed them
seen
over,
this. Yeah,
and he's discovered that and you have to be on DMT to do this. That on DMT, if you look at this where these lights intersect, well, I won't tell you. Here's the
yeah.
video.
Just show it. Yes.
And that's only surfaced like very recently. So it's interesting if we have flipped over, been siphoned off into a digital simulation, or a chunk of people have been siphoned off into a digital, which could also explain the Mandela effect, if that actually has occurred. And
Mandela. Yeah.
also, yeah, because I don't feel like I'm living in an unreal world. I feel like I'm probably more real than ever at the moment. I feel more plugged in, more connected, more energized, more natural, more I feel all of that more than ever.
Hmm.
So I'm like the opposite from what that lady was talking about.
Yeah,
So
I definitely, yeah, I don't feel disconnected or like I'm in a video game or
yeah,
anything like that. No.
yeah, I feel that. But maybe all the people who have gone down I mean, but then she was a truth seeker, the woman who presented it. Like she obviously,
Hmm.
so I don't know. I guess we don't know. We don't know anything.
No, I mean, there's truth seekers and there's people who say they're truth seekers, and they just like to follow other people.
I don't know. I don't know. She just felt like a genuine
Yeah.
human being.
And then if that's true, then how are they interfacing the simulated reality with the real reality?
Well, anyway, so this video came out this year. So I think, so here, see, this is interesting, right? But it's interesting that you've got to be on DMT to see it. So that's interesting as well. So like that's, yeah, just saying that's like a plant drug, a plant medicine.
Yeah.
So
it's in our brain anyway.
and in all the documentaries I've watched about DMT before now, they've never mentioned this. Like it's not this is something specific to DMT, but there's something specific to looking at it with DMT through the light in this current paradigm. But anyway, here we go.
I remember things very vividly from a very young age.
Is that too loud?
When I was a little kid, I actually spent a lot of time with my grandparents. My grandfather was a nuclear physicist. I remember he was telling me about black holes. And that terrified me.
I was like, that's just mind-boggling. It's a monster, right?
But at the same time, it fascinated me. And I said to myself, how do we know that? This unthinkably massive thing. I realized that nature doesn't keep secrets. It's only a matter of, do we understand?
I like that. Nature doesn't keep secrets. I think that's a nice statement.
What tools can we use to expand our knowledge? And for me, dimethyltryptamine, also known as DMT, was the tool that led me to the discovery.
When I first saw the phenomenon, it was like, holy shit!
But then it was actually like, whoa, what is happening?
Am I losing my mind? But then I showed other people, and things kept getting weirder.
Just for the record, I haven't told him anything. Okay, just tell me what you see.
Oh my God, come on.
Wow, what the fuck? Holy shit. I just saw something. Yeah. What the fuck?
Oh, I see that. I feel it.
I've been under the influence of mind-altering substances a lot, but I've never seen anything like that. Whoa.
I showed over 100 people, and I kept asking myself, how are all of us seeing the same thing?
Oh my God. It changing shapes right there.
The laser was revealing numbers and letters running in a pattern.
They're almost like this big here, and it looks like code.
It looked like programming code.
It's definitely saying something, and I just want to take a picture of it and translate it.
Wow.
You see that?
Okay, so yeah, it's not stuck.
No.
It's not because of the light.
No, it's on its own side. Light is just literally revealing it.
And each angle shows you different layers, different ways through it.
I could see through the wall. It's not like a hallucination. It has spatial awareness and permanence. I don't know. Whoa.
For centuries, mankind has attempted to explore these psychedelic, altered states, but we've never had a repeatable, testable phenomenon to observe until now.
Wow. I'm obsessed.
It's like you can see through the laser into another dimension.
I mean, like, take yourself to that. Like, I just made a connection that nobody made before, which is a simple connection. The claim is, if you project a diffracted laser on the surface and you smoke DMT, you will see code running in surfaces. Yes, like in the Matrix.
So there are a few possibilities. One,
I lost my mind, which is the coolest losing your mind ever in history. The second option is that this is the biggest discovery of humankind. If anybody ever asked themselves what it would be like to know you live in the Matrix for sure, well, I know for sure. I'm convinced. So where do we go from here? All I know is it's about to get crazy.
It's interesting, isn't it? So they were basically looking through and like looking at the door, like that guy, the door basically turned into code and he could see through it. So it's basically saying everything is made up of code, which is, very Matrix, right? And
they're very off the back of that video we just saw with Elon Musk describing a digital replica and very 13th floor.
Very 13th floor. And this is what they've been projecting, a long time. Like we had Terminator, these robots, and now Elon again, has been releasing robots and stuff. And then that went on to the Matrix, right? Like the Terminator, because the same lady wrote both those stories.
Yeah.
And the Terminator is a prequel to the Matrix.
Yeah.
Basically. And then we go into the whole simulation, of the Matrix. So it's interesting. I mean, if we look at the Matrix, that they did get out, right? So if we are, then there's possibly a way out. But I mean, would you want to, and go live in a spaceship flying around, bloody fighting, electronic squids?
No, of course not. So interesting.
So
it's just, I mean, it does fit into the idea that there's like a split, like the wide split, what Glenn was talking about.
Yeah.
Uncle Glenn was talking about today, like, so that there's this split and it has to come back into oneness. But maybe that's like, and then we all knew something was dodge about the vax, and then all the shit that we know, it does fit into the idea of them creating a digital replica, and then all the cameras and all the smart technology and all of that stuff, and the digital currency, the shift to digital currency. And it does tend to, it's very Ready Player. Do you remember that movie Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Like it does fit into all of that narrative that suddenly out of like just recently on DMT, you'd start to see this sort of code. Whereas that's not part of DMT experiences I've heard about before. It's not like that's like a standard thing that you see when you're using DMT. But to start, I mean, because when I used it, it was what the scenes that I came into on DMT, they just felt, they were so organic, they were so that there was nothing, like binary codish about it at all.
Yeah. More spiritual, if you want to call it that, kind of like ayahuasca stuff, and people make dragons and snakes and all this kind of thing. But yeah, definitely not coding. I guess, the way I've always looked at it is everything is energy, and we obviously perceive everything as solid. I mean, is that how it works? I don't know. That's just another idea thrown out there. Is that how the energy becomes solid? I don't know. But again, like, this is the first report of it, right? Like you think with all the technology, it would have come out beforehand, right? We've had lasers for a very long time.
Yeah, exactly. And then like with Uncle Glenn today, we were talking about like the inversion, where they put two triangles on top of each other. There's always an inversion. There's always this another layer creating that Merkaba, that's experience that, and it's just in.
I was going to say that's an interesting point, because he was talking about it should be a diamond, like a triangle on top of an inverted triangle. And what they did is they melded them, and that created, the six-pointed star, which is the Merkaba, and the star, which kind of is along the same theme again, right? Like two different worlds that have been combined, maybe one organic and one non-organic.
You see, this is yet another bonus beat tick for my phone. I'm sorry, everyone. A bonus tick for drinking your own urine. Because like, I mean, like if you want to stay on the organics in the organic simulation, that's a smart elixir to like, connect into. I mean, you just cannot produce more organic than that.
No. We all have what we need inside of us, right? Yeah, well, I mean, I've been on it for, 2 weeks now? Bit more? 2 weeks?
Yep.
And my arms definitely jumping about, and I'm feeling a lot more down in my fingers, and something's happening, put it that way. Something's going on. So as far as health wise, it's good,
Your
yeah,
detox too.
I mean, you would think if you were in a simulation that it would just all be, McDonald's and soft drink, right? Like you wouldn't be, this kind of stuff wouldn't be, because it would be a controlled simulation, right? There
Yeah.
would only be certain things that you could do and have access to. So, this is what we've been saying, for a long time is nature, right? Like, get out in nature. It's the micro, electronic grid versus the macro natural grid. And which one do you want to be in? And I guess ultimately everyone kind of made that choice in the last 4 years, didn't they?
But then a digital replica, like, would you even not feel like you're in nature? Like, would you even, like, I don't know, like that's like, it's the subtleties that are interesting, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I guess they would have to make it as natural as possible so that you didn't realize, because having people in a simulation wouldn't be of any benefit or work if they knew they were there, would they? Because it would be a control system.
I mean, we're definitely on the side of the Mandela effect, where we remember the memories pre whatever happened
The old
212,
memories.
217, the old memories. We remember the old memories, and in fact, we're obsessed with the old, remembering the old, So we definitely have a natural drive towards the old realm, the old memories, the old food, the old ways, the old lifestyles. So that would very much put us in sort of like we haven't been successfully uploaded to the digital replica.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's also a lot of, content now being put out about the 80s and showing the 80s, and like even younger people like watching it and going, oh wow, I'm just being really interested in the 80s, which is again is a bit weird, and people are saying it
It
was
is a
the
bit
last,
weird.
yeah, and they're saying it was the last real decade and all this, and
Mm.
the last decade where people actually got to grow up as children, which is true, right? And so that begs the question: does walking around staring at a phone all day, does that make you more susceptible to go into the simulation, right?
Of course, because
Yeah.
the blue light is it's draining you like when do you know I that was another good clip. I should find that right now. There's a whole clip I watched about the blue light and where the blue light came from, who invented it and how it came about and why it came about. Let me find it. Say something fascinating while I bring that one up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm sure I've seen, can't put my finger on it, but there's a lot of, stuff out there, movies or cartoons, whatever, where people go in, get sucked into their phones or their computers and things, right? Like they sort of show that in images that you get sucked into them. And of course, there's a whole Black Mirror, scrying mirror thing. Um, it's yeah, it's weird. And I saw a thing on Steve Jobs, who died of, the big C apparently, right? And they were saying, he invented, the laptop because he was sitting there and it was on his lap all the time, and all of the back pockets in his jeans were always, broken because he was always carrying a phone. And when he was close to exiting, he said
Sorry.
he didn't want his children to ever use this
Sorry.
technology because he realized what it was. So is that another thing? The more connected in you are to this electronic grid, the more it takes a hold on you, right? I mean, and there's the whole people, the whole celebrity thing, right? Celebrities seem to be disappearing, right? I mean, Mr. Biden, right? Like, who is that?
Yeah.
Like we seem to have this thing of clones and doubles, which again has only really come up
Mm-hmm.
since 2020, right? This
Yeah, it's
whole
come up big.
phenomenon.
And the
And
transgender
yeah,
and the clones, it's
and
come
the
up big,
clones and the
man. The fact that they're all
doppelgangers,
inverted, all the sexualities are inverted, all the genders are inverted. Yep, all the actors
which
are inverted.
which is interesting because if you're an electronic signature, then you're neither sex, right? You're just a created being. So they could easily be switching, making doubles, all this kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, it's very symbolic as well, isn't it? The inversion, like everything to them, everything. There's nothing sacred of that. There's no sacredness. The split, the inversion so strong. The X.
The X. So that, yeah, and then of course after Y, after the split, we get the Z. What does that stand for? You know, there's been a lot of talk about the zombies, you know, and zombie disease and all this zombie face and zombie drugs and stuff.
All right, this is really interesting, Campbell. This off the topic of the blue light. Like, check out this. You guys wouldn't have heard this either.
The reason none of them are red lit, the reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about, and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like drugs and things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. Then the CIA took it to the next level. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation, what if we did it through light through screens? And it turns out you can. And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. So why is this all important? Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things so they can control the things that we all do. Where did the original idea come from that started off in MKUltra with the CIA? You're going to be surprised when you hear this. It came from the mafia in Las Vegas. They wanted to build a new city in a desert. They enclosed it all, blacked out the windows, invented slot machines that were blue lit. And they found out that they didn't have to take a gun, stick it in your face to steal your money. Then they even got smart. They said, let's give people free alcohol while they're doing that. And they found out they got the money quicker. And that's when the CIA got the idea to start this program. That's really how it started.
That's very interesting. Of course, ties again back to Mr. Musk, right, with the whole brain implant. And of course, that's being, you know, promoted as, oh, it's just to help people. It's all for us, right? And it's just to help quadriplegics walk again and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, yeah, he seems to be a main figure of the story, old Mr. Musk.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Elon, wasn't he? He's obviously, you know, telling everyone he's going to go to Mars, but there was some book, wasn't there, about, I think it was someone who did go to Mars or something, and the lead character was called Elon.
Wouldn't it be, yes, I remember that. Wouldn't it be fascinating, which is retarded, by the way, but wouldn't it be fascinating, like if in the digital replica of the experience there was space and Mars and planets and, you know, and like civilizations on the planet. And yet here in the organic simulation, we're proving that everything's like different and flat, and you know, we're connecting with outer realm beings out of our, you know, realm. And like, I mean, it's interesting how like being in a space and a spatial time and place together in different realities, how
to the point where you can't even talk to, you know, there's such a split in ideas of reality and where we are that you literally can't have conversations with other people. I mean, the whole, you know, what's the shape of the realm thing, like, you know, some people, you know, it's definitely a globe, you know, and they get really aggressive and angry if you don't believe that. And so that they're clearly seeing that, right? So is that just a perception thing from programming, or is that literally their reality? And our reality is different, and this is why we can't find this common
That's right.
ground.
Yeah, so it's more than just programming. It's literally like a digital It's a digital rewrite of your brain's sensory expression and experience of reality.
So, I mean, that's an interesting point. So if there is a simulation, where is it? Where is it held? Is it held literally in the individual's brain? Is that where the simulation is? So that we can share the same physical space, but half of us are in a simulation and half of us aren't.
And I guess they went so hardcore with like calcifying the pineal gland. Like so long ago did they start that mission, with the fluoride. Yeah. So and so long ago our audience started the mission of not drinking fluoride or using fluorinated toothpaste. So if they haven't managed to block and calcify your pineal gland, then I can't imagine being siphoned off to a replicated version of reality would be that easy. Like if you're because there's a instinct and and like there are things like we would say that like if you tried to eat their food now, it would taste very fake and
I was just thinking that, like with McDonald's, like everyone knows it's not good for you, but for our kind, there's no way we'd eat it. There's just no way, right? But other people would go, oh well, it's bad and it's crap, but I'm really hungry and I'm on my way home. I'll just grab one. I'll just grab a burger.
I remember when Hungry Jacks used to be fucking delicious.
Hungry Jacks,
when
yeah, man.
The Whoppers, like there were the Aussie Maccas
with
and
fresh salad, and it was actually like a real, actual burger.
I mean, you could say it like if you take any of the like major, processed food products, like when they were introduced, they really still just had holistic ingredients. Like ice cream was still cream and sugar and, and like the vanilla bean. It was still very simplified and crackers were still wheat and water and, it was still, but now, add like 10 other poisonous heavy metal E number chemicals. So like the food to us, their food tastes pretty like crap now, like pretty unsatisfying. It doesn't taste right. It doesn't have the, like before we did our fast, we tried those peanut butter Reese. I like, that's me. I like chocolate and peanut butter, but that combination, and we tried, and it was so like everything about it felt artificial.
Yeah, it felt chemically and it wasn't like a cake grandma used to make or anything like that. Because you can make that kind of stuff from natural ingredients, but that's not what we're getting now. And there's a big conversation going on, with what America gets in their food compared to the rest of the world, man. I mean, it's crazy. Like with Fanta, I think in France and Europe, Fanta's got 3 ingredients. It's like literally carbonated water and sugar and orange juice. And in America, it's got like, I don't know, like 20 chemicals, and it's all fake and
their fabrics are also feeling very fake. Their fabrics, I don't know if you guys have tried recently going to the op shop and looking for things. This about 95% of op shops now are just filled with like fucking plastic clothes, like it's just no point. And so there's a real artificial nature about the unbreathable, the non-natural textures, and same with building materials, right? And houses, like they're very like we would never buy a house now that's been made in the last 20 fucking years. No way. Like they're so like
full of
shit and
toxic
and in America particularly, but if in the last like 20 years, if they built your house and it was raining, more than likely it had chipboard or particle board in, which like dried off, but you've got mold growing inside your walls. You wouldn't even fucking know because that moisture stayed in there. And that's like the houses are all like that too.
Totally, man. It's crazy. America, like the new housing, like they have plastic fences.
Yeah.
And like all the moldings, like columns and stuff around people's door. It's just all plastic.
Yeah.
It's all of it, like weatherboards.
Yeah.
Plastic. It's just I was at the shopping centre the other day, at the front of Coles, they had this like a park bench thing and this big sign. This is our green bench. because it's made from recycled plastic.
Plastics. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, the inversion. It's become
crazy.
green to use recycled
It's
plastic.
green is
What?
plastic now.
I
Not
know,
wood,
I know.
plastic.
Yeah, I know. And then you come into a community like this one, and everything's built naturally. Like all the playgrounds are built out of natural materials, and the houses, and you can really feel the resonance different.
Melania,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah. Well,
massive difference, you
your
know?
house is, yeah, it's got all the same things and all the moldings and the balconies, but it's all wood.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, for
real,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just built long enough ago. Like I probably wouldn't live in a house built like probably 40 years, but I'd go back 40 years
You'd
if
have to.
the next house, yeah,
They don't even make houses
yeah,
well anymore. I remember I was like, when I was back in the building industry, and for a while, I was putting in like those shutters on windows. And we'd do a lot of new estates. Half of them you could not fit them because the windows weren't even square.
yeah, yeah,
Like you
yeah,
just
yeah,
couldn't do
yeah,
it. And I remember
yeah,
looking down one wall once, and it was just like a bloody snake.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
So they're just so shoddy, and that's kind of what
yeah.
got me thinking, what's coming? That they're not building these houses to last. Do they know that there's something coming up? So they don't care that they're not going to be here in 20 years because there's something coming, right?
Well, I mean, and we've always thought of that as a physical shift on this plane, but imagine if the people just won't have the same consciousness who are living in them. So, like it may just be that it's the mental perception of them that it gets altered.
Mm. Yeah, okay.
Living in
So
poisonous shit is fine because you're not even perceiving it like that. To you, it's technologically wiring and firing. You know what I mean?
yeah, so we'd look at it and it'd be like, oh my God, what a piece of crap. But
Yeah.
other people are looking at it and they're like, oh my God, it's a new
Yes.
house. It's amazing.
Exactly.
It's,
So,
it's like this whole thing for new cars. Like I'd never buy a new car.
no, I would
Like
never buy a new
nothing,
car.
probably 15, 20 years, probably, right?
Yeah.
They're just so crap. And of course, now they're all completely controlled. They're full of
Yeah.
cameras,
Yeah.
all this, radiation and Wi-Fi stuff going on. And
I got a letter from the fucking car people, the like New South Wales driving
yeah,
people.
yeah.
And and yeah, I got a warning. I got a warning for speeding. A warning. It said the letter, but I mean, like what? It basically said, we've got evidence that you were speeding on this date, and this is a warning to you. So I'm just like, well, fucking how would I? There's no photo. I'm like, what? If I was
What
speeding, you just
evidence?
fucking fine me the $2
Exactly.
million that you like to fine us. Like, so like maybe I was like 0.05 over the speed limit or something retarded. Like, but a warning. That's never happened before. And I was like, this is so ridiculously artificial to me.
It's the fines in Australia are fucking ridiculous, man. It's like because you got done for not voting and they try to take your license away.
They did take my license
They
away.
did. Oh, fuck, man, it's just
Yeah, just so everyone knows in the world, Australia is not, well, nowhere's a democracy, but Australia specifically is communistic in its processes and legal system. If you don't vote, as if you would put your name to such a thing, if you don't vote, you will lose your driver's license. And obviously that fucks your life up, right? And you could still choose to drive, but you can't get insurance. So it's fucked. So I mean, that's well up there with the Chinese and their temperament. Well up there, So now I've just realized I'm just going to pay the exit fee. So I just pay the exit fee, and it's jumped from $20 to $100. They're such assholes anyway, but I'm just going to pay the exit fee, so I can exit the game. I'm not going to give them my signature. Goodbye. Okay, fine, whatever.
to get off
Yeah.
the roll, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Just to
electoral
not,
roll.
just to choose not. So for us to not to vote, we have to pay for that right.
I know our American friends will be going, what? Because they don't have to, right? But yeah, in Australia, you have to go and cast your vote for someone, which is the crappiest thing. Is there's only there might be 10 parties on the list, but they all, doesn't matter who you vote for, it's going to get given to one of the top two parties. So that all these other people have not got a chance in hell of ever getting into power.
No,
their votes just get given away.
Anyway, whatever.
Which is just so corrupt and crap.
I will say that I can definitely resonate with their world becoming more and more and more and more and more dramatically, obviously fake and unreal to our community. Like there's really there's nothing that they haven't built or touched that we're all just like repelled by or dismissed completely or completely refused to engage. Like there's nothing that they have done that we haven't sort of rejected, unless there's things that we haven't thought about yet. But we're even now getting to the fact that our real true elixir could be our urine. I mean, that's pretty much rejects their entire model. Just there. Drink your wee and you've rejected everything. I mean, that's as far down the rabbit hole as we've gone in understanding. Maybe because I can't like 100,000% like say absolutely this is true, but it may be like one of the greatest hidden mysteries of our realm.
You can imagine what a doctor would say if you went in and you said, "Oh, I had this problem, so I started drinking my wee." And even though there's tons of information out there and research and everything, they would just, I mean, God, they might even get you dragged away and bloody, tested for mental acuity.
And I really love the idea that so one thing that the water fast taught me, and I hope you guys all enjoyed that podcast last week. That was super fun, and it was just so amazing connecting so intimately with a group, so open to all the discoveries of the
cool way. Yeah, man. The conversations were awesome.
Yeah, so and I feel very connected to the whole group. I feel very interconnecting that way, and we really understood that the exchange of wisdom and knowledge can so effortlessly magnify and so effortlessly build this momentum where it's just like you're reaching the greatest understandings. Just so marvelous how quickly it works. And I love when we say we're drinking our wee, that we use the word we. I love the WE, I love that it really does in its own language talk about interconnectedness and connectivity and community.
The people. Yeah.
I love that, and I can't ignore that. That's just it's a perfect. It really feels
And it was just great because everyone was on board, right, with getting their own wisdom, and all understanding that you're not, there's information, but unless you've experienced it, it's not wisdom. You've got to use yourself as your guinea pig. There's none of this, oh, well, I heard this and I heard that. Well, who gives a shit? That doesn't mean anything. That's just someone's opinion stacked on someone's opinion.
Yep.
Once you experience it, and that's really what got us all onto it, because we'd all heard about, U1 therapy, and thought, oh, but Sharon told us her story of her experience and how she gained the wisdom, and we're like, whoa, okay, there's something to this now. It's a completely different way to come, to come at information, and that's it. Like ultimately, this is it, right? We've got to gain our own experiences, our own perspectives, because doing the opposite is what's created this whatever it is that we're in, right? People just listening to other people and going, oh, well, that's the truth, and just following it and not really knowing what the hell they're talking about. Like the whole wabby. That they were trusting doctors because, well, they're experts, but I mean, and then clearly a lot of people didn't trust them, and we've seen what's happened since, well, we haven't censoring most of it, but censorship, yes, gosh, Kelly got her LinkedIn account taken down, and she was just on 1 million views, was it? 1 million likes, and they took her down for talking an alternative narrative than what they want to put out there.
I was being very well behaved. I was being very the articles were
professional.
They're very professional. They're deeply intelligent, and they were very evidenced.
Well,
because I was talking to the LinkedIn community, which is our our corporate professionals. Yep. But obviously I was there because of carbonate. So I was talking, I was just basically using our brilliant deductive minds, but I aimed it in on the whole renewable energies and climate change and the food chain and chemicals and all that stuff. Yeah. So just this morning I woke up and I was it's all gone. My profile's gone, my feed's gone, all of my just like that. No warning.
No,
there's no, I got no, like you violated a community, none of that, nothing happened, like zero. My
no.
last article had 40,000 views or something, and that was like today, like I put it up yesterday,
And they
and
never
then
tell you why. You can never, go in and ask for it to get reviewed or anything. When that's happened to me with a couple of channels, yeah, you go to bed, you wake up, and there's just no evidence that it ever existed.
yeah,
It's just
it's
gone.
hilarious.
It's just like, what? What? And that happened to me after I interviewed David Icke. And now David Icke's on YouTube. And I'm like, what the hell,
Yeah,
man? You like
yeah,
what? What?
yeah,
It's
I
just
know. So
it's yeah, the whole renewable energy thing is the weirdest, right? All these green, charities and all this kind of stuff, they're all pushing things like wind turbines that are the most destructive thing to the environment ever almost. It's
yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's just they've gone from the
Nuts.
fossil industry, which I was even writing about how that's not actual dinosaur bones. Like that's where we were at. Like that's anyway, yeah. But I was just like fossil fuels to fucking renewables. It's like it's the same models. It's the
Yeah,
same model. It's just the same. Anyway, you guys all know that shit. I don't talk
yeah,
to you guys about it, but
it's crazy,
yeah,
man. Don't
anyway. So I'm just like, okay, cool, no worries. I don't.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's a million
Whatever.
stories. Just don't believe
I'm
the narrative,
fucking
man.
anything.
Think for yourself. Get your own
Yeah.
information. You
Well,
know.
I mean, I can definitely say, not from the perspective of that lady we listened to saying that she was feeling derealized, but I can definitely say I feel like they are appearing derealized to me.
I was going to
Like
say that's where I am. It is like everyone else seems just weird and crazy. Like, but it's not my experience that's feeling, non-real or non-organic or anything. But looking around at other people and what they're doing and the people they're following and the thoughts they're having, it's
and
crazy, man. Some of the stuff that's
like
coming out of my parents' mouths, I'm just like, oh my, I've got no words, man.
well, I mean, like if you even think about the environments of people um living in these sorts of houses, like there's no life, there's no bugs, there's no mice, there's no insects,
Yeah, spiders.
there's
That's a
no
good point.
spiders, there's no snakes, there's no goannas, there's no koalas, there's no life running through these houses because they're fucking toxic.
It's interesting because all these like sci-fi shows and movies, when they show the future, same thing, right? Everything's square, everything's white,
Yeah,
everything's devoid of insects or,
yeah.
animals or nature. Yeah, it's interesting.
Because they'll probably have built into their smart grids like those horrible frequencies that like kill, you
Well,
can buy those
yeah,
terrible
they've
things.
debugged
Yeah,
like the software.
yeah, that's right. Like it's just, yeah, I mean, I can see that that's occurred. I can see that the Mandela effect was somehow related to that. I can see that
Hmm.
there's definitely a case for that, you know,
That's
but I did lose my sense of taste and smell, Campbell. That occurred, but I can see how he could have just grabbed that as something to, bring into that theory. But that happened to me.
could be the mold or something, we don't know, but yeah, there's definitely, different people. There's different groups of people down here. Like we've been talking about it for a couple of years now. Like there's definitely been some kind of split. And it's interesting that, like our people normally, like with the Mandela effect, we normally all remember the original. And it's all the program people that say, no, it's always been like this. And we kind of think, oh, well, it's just because, that's what the system's saying or whatever. But maybe that's literally their reality. Because so is the simulation, if this has happened, again, where are they holding the simulation? Because we've still got these bodies that seem to be organic walking around. So is the simulation somehow in their mind rather than them all being
Well, that
taken and
makes
put in a
sense.
holodeck? It's
Yep, that
just
makes sense.
their mind. So
Yep,
we're in the
yep.
same physical space, but we're in two
Mm-hmm.
different worlds.
Mm-hmm. I would concur with that.
Mm,
Yep, that makes sense to me.
doesn't it?
Yep, yep.
And
So,
then,
and how fascinating, which would then give the workforce and the battery energy required for the AI world, for the smart gridded world, for it,
Yeah, well,
it gives
yeah,
the
because
battery
they're
source, right?
batteries. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah,
exactly.
Matrix style.
Yeah. So whereas we have decided to lend our power source and our battery source to this organic world, to this other creation, whatever, the dream that we have for the world that we want to live in. Like that's where
Mm.
our energy and our sources have been plugged into. And we're battery sources. Everything is wiring and firing off us.
Yeah, yeah, but we understand we're creators and we're trying to create what we want, where the other people are just following what they're told. So they're creating what
But they don't know that.
they don't know, they don't understand that,
No.
but that's what they're doing.
Yes.
But to them, it's normal. It's
Yes.
like, I mean, you talk to these
Well, it's
people and you say,
to
well, the
to
government's illegal, and they lose their shit, man. They won't even
yeah.
listen to you.
I mean, to them it is it's progress.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
them
yeah.
it's development. It's the future happening. It's
Okay,
progress.
we're
It's
progressing. Everyone's
yeah.
growing younger and getting
Yeah.
really sick, and there's no relationships that last any longer, and people don't know their kids, and people are getting stupid. What progress? We're at the
Mm,
epitome. We're going to space. We're going to
yeah.
Mars with Elon.
But
Yeah,
progress can be super subtle as well. It can just be super subtle all over the place. Like, I mean, progress happened to us. We're here on YouTube, like we have phones, progress happened to us. We, integrated
mm.
and like so, but we've just decided to like, okay, we like there's a vibe in our world of like, all right, this is enough, we're not going to hand this down to our kids. We're not going to give them this world. We're going to keep them away from it, like we're not going to like, like our interaction is,
Yeah, yeah.
we've got our sort of like
We can see it, and other people are
there, but
going, "I'm a good parent because I just bought my kid, my 5-year-old, the latest iPhone." Yay.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, but but like it's just yeah, I can see how all of that has actually occurred, and um it's an interesting one.
It
So
is.
then we've got on top of that, we've got this like plasmic event. We've got this pole shift event, and like then what does that do? Does that, wouldn't it be interesting if this theory was accurate and then that like pole shift happened, that positive negative charge shift happened, and then that was an actual split off. Imagine if that just literally,
Well, I mean,
with the charge changing.
yeah, yeah. It makes sense if, everyone talks about it. It's a free will realm and you've got to consent. So if something like that was happening, who's to say they're not going to put a 5-year sort of time frame in where everyone gets to choose which way they're going, which road they're going to walk down, right? And so we're getting close to the end, and a lot of people have chosen they're going to follow the system and do that. Not that it's really, they've been programmed, obviously, but and then the other people are like, no, definitely not even interested. And now all these earth changes are happening, right? And the flooding that's coming down and all this stuff, right? And that's another interesting thing that Uncle Glenn said with all the water that's been happening up in the Americas. When a lady gives birth, the waters break. So is this us birthing a new world? Is this
Yeah.
literally what we're seeing in at least the organic realm? Is something's being birthed, the waters have broken, and we're about to see
And
birth.
to be fair, we don't even know if this is an organic realm.
No,
Because like
well,
we don't know if we like, we have the remnants from Tartaria. That could give evidence of the fact that we were digitally moved to this experience, that we came from that. That
yep,
there was a transfer explaining the new avatars that entered the game. Like, so we have evidence that something like that may have occurred,
yeah, with all
Campbell.
the babies and the infinite
So what's
the
organic? Like
incubators.
it feels organic to us because we feel like we have we've spent time in this realm
It's all
and
we know.
connect. It's all we know, and we've connected into the old ways of this realm and nature. So it's
Mm.
feeling organic to us. But like if
Yeah,
we'd been digitally transferred or just transferred from the last
mm.
realm, then this would be inorganic.
Yeah. So a very 13th floor again, because there were levels.
Yep.
Right, like they created one world, and then everyone thought it was real, and they got to the point where they had the technology to create another world, and they thought they were the first to do it, but then they found out they were down the line a
Yep.
bit, right?
Exactly. So interesting, people.
Interesting.
And is your higher self, is that intuitive guide of yours, that God mind of yours, is that the
Is
original
that the
organic?
original? Yeah, man. That is interesting.
And are we
And
just are we just
that would be like soul shards as well, kind of theory, wouldn't it?
Yep, yep. And that would mean that we're just like that the new consciousness, the new realm that's formed out of this like siphoning of the reality today, it means that we're choosing to stay in the current realm is what it's actually what we're choosing. Whereas, those who are like, gone into this new digital or the new version of this realm, which is AI to the max, so
And then
we're
they're going
just,
down, but they believe they're going up.
which is what, if we're not sure how this timeline played out, but if you were to take the indigenous, the elders and the indigenous and the tribes from around the realm, they would have stuck around. They stuck around as opposed to being siphoned up to the new level and have thus over time become the originals,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
indigenous. Like, so
Remember
are we?
when we talked to Stephen and Evan Strong, and they were talking about the originals in Australia and how they had technology, but they rejected it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
so
walked away.
they
They
walked
walked
away
away from
from
the
it
game. They
to
walked away
stay
from the
from the
game.
game, to stay in the
Yep.
actual original organic.
Yep. Yep. So
Mm.
we in our for our community choosing to do that right now, then it would mean that by choosing to stick around and be here, we would become part of the elders of the realm. So like it's all very interesting. And the the pole shift, which changes the charge, like what does that do when you're talking about a siphoning of the consciousness to a new digital replica? Like if the charge changes, would that deactivate that entire experience and expression? Like how much of this technology this grid that we live on now is going to be completely unusable with a new charge going through it? I just don't know.
And the charge is such an interesting word, right? The
Yep.
atmosphere is getting charged. What's
Yep.
getting charged? What
Yep.
is that the energy to create a new simulation within the simulation?
Yeah,
What's that other
exactly.
movie, Inception, is it, with
Yeah.
DiCaprio, where they go down levels? But in that one, it's more,
It's
they talk about
dreams.
dreams, but it's all totally
Conscious. Yep.
internal, right? That's
Yep.
all run in their mind.
Yep.
That's where
Yep.
the simulation is. So,
And then when you use something like DMT, like you literally take 3 puffs on that pipe and you open up to a whole other realm. You're literally in another realm. You're completely immersed 1000% for 12 minutes in a complete sensory experience of another realm.
wow.
So
Sometime I've never done it.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So it's like
I
don't know.
Yeah, it's like there's a realm there, and like we're seeing outside of this
There's
simulation into
realms
the
upon
original realm.
realms. Yes, realms upon realms upon realms. We're in realm. We're in the house of realm
The
mirrors.
babushka doll.
Yeah, with the babushka doll realm. We're the babushka dolls.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, so I don't know when you can consider it something organic, from that context. And maybe when Maggie was dowsing the other day and she talked about it being a simulation of sorts, maybe that's what they were kind of the pendulum was sort of, working towards. That it's not that this is the organic realm, but it's essentially by the fact that it's the one we've been in, and the older one for now, it becomes the organic realm.
That's why everything's energy here, but in the original one, it's actually organic.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Wow. Let us know what you think in the comments, guys. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you feel like the world's, still normal? Or do you feel like it's not? What is it called? Are you an unrealist or whatever?
Derealized.
Are you derealized?
Derealized.
Yeah.
It's just such an interesting word.
It is.
I actually have to ask the definition because I never, just before we end the show.
Realized, because obviously real, reality.
Derealized.
Which is also realty, by the way, which is housing. So
all right, here it is.
Housed in reality.
This is the first website I found. Derealized is a mental state where you feel detached from your surroundings. People and objects around you may seem unreal. Even so, you're aware that this altered state isn't normal. More than half of all people may have this disconnection from reality once in their lifetime, but about 1% of people have it often enough for it to become an ongoing issue. And then they say depersonalization versus derealization. That's a distinct difference between that. Derealization is the feeling of disconnect from the world around you, and depersonalized is a disconnect from your own body, thoughts, and feelings.
It's very interesting. It's very Mandela effect.
It makes you feel like you're in a dream or a frog. A see-through wall or veil is separating you from your surroundings. Interesting. The world appears lifeless, muted, or fake. Objects or people look wrong. For instance, blurry, unnaturally sharp, too big or too small. Sounds are distorted. Time seems to speed up, slow down, or stand still. The people around you aren't real. For instance, you might feel like they're robots, even though you know they're not. Maybe they've just invented this to explain us.
Yeah, this is for the normies.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept.
I wonder what they say causes it. It's a medical condition.
Of course, man. That way they can give you drugs, man.
Yeah. All right. So,
well, the whole mental health epidemic could be part of it, right? People are just not transitioning through properly. They're not accepting the new base reality. Is that what mental health is? Mental health.
You know? Well, I mean, I think that's what the lunatic asylums were for. I think they bring in the asylums, at the beginning, but at the end, I think it's probably that's the transitional demonic, energy, parasitic buildup of toxins and bullshit.
Good point. Geez, you might have to expand this conversation at another point because, if we tie in the whole Tartaria kind of stuff and the asylum and the children and all that, empty cities, it's sort of starting to make a bit more sense, right?
I mean, then if you put the 13th floor alongside that movie where they at nighttime they change the city around and give people new identities.
Yeah, Dark City.
Dark City. If you combine those two together, which is like the dark city changing the world at night and the identities into the 13th floor of the layers of virtual reality. It's quite what's going on.
Yeah, man, because most people in Dark City didn't realize anything had changed. It's only a couple of them.
Gosh, man. Well, okay. Woo! All right.
So there you go, guys. A bit of a shorter one today because Kelly's been working hard.
Yeah.
She needs a rest. She needs to spend time with the Charlie and the Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, definitely.
Not Dale. That's Sherlock Holmes. Not Dale.
Although I think Dale's coming up. I think we're going to watch the election together.
Jeez, man. I'm
fun. You're going to be jealous.
Man, I might have to buy a ticket just to come over for the weekend.
Oh, well, you should, Campbell. See what they cost. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
you might get some special. Leave it like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, see what's going on there.
I'll
check it out,
man. I'll have a look.
All right, there you go. Campbell might be in the house for the next podcast.
We can sit there with Trump flags.
So I'm off to Tasmania this week, so I will miss we'll miss next week's Friday show.
But we do have something special to put up for you to peruse. So we spoke about earlier, remember?
Yeah.
So I won't tell you what it is, guys. You'll have to wait and see.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
But we'll do that, I think. All
right, cool.
I mean, it seems we're talking about the past, not to give too much away, but yeah.
All right. Yeah, rock and roll. That will be fun. All right, cool, guys. Well, then you look forward to that little treat Cam's got planned for you next Friday, and I'll see you in 2 weeks from now. And I love you all, and that was like a crazy conversation. Excellent. Yeah. Tell us what you think. Awesome. And
share it around, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that kind of stuff that people say.
And I'm currently in the middle of I decided randomly that I would create a series of new t-shirt designs for our shop, entitled "How to Antagonize Your Teenager." And they're going to be like for our little community, for the mums and dads out there who just think it would be hilarious to wind their kids up, designing a t-shirt range for you guys.
Yeah, so you got any ideas on how to antagonize teenagers?
That's right. All right. Well, have an amazing fortnight, guys. And Campbell, we may see you very soon.
I think, I'm going to check it out, man.
Awesome, all right. Guys. Love you guys.
Stay awesome.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.